Yo, what's up guys? This is Byron here, and welcome to another episode of Byron's Bios. Now tonight I'll be reviewing another Strangers film, which is the third and final installment of the reboot series, which is none other than The Strangers Chapter 3. So again, this will be spoiler free with a few exceptions, so just do not be concerned. But with that being said, let's review this movie and get this over with. So the movie starts off with a flashback from 2021 where this woman named Claire who checks into a motel, but there was a knock on her door, so things start to get creepy, especially when the strangers quietly break in and murder Claire. In the present day, the story continues after the events of The Strangers Chapter 2, where we have Madeline Pitch reprising her role as Maya, who is the only survivor of the strangers, and after she killed one of the strangers, she goes out to a refugee to avoid getting caught by the psychopaths. However, she ends up getting caught by a cop named Sheriff Rodder, but yet steals a police car. And interesting fact, the sheriff himself is the father of one of the strangers named Gregory. While at a diner, Maya's sister Debbie goes in and asks everyone where Maya is, as she's been reported missing, and they somehow get the sheriff named Marcus to find her. However, Maya goes into this underground hideout and gets caught by the strangers. And when she does, they hold her hostage and forced her to go murder a couple of people at the Venus Motel, as they set up this couple in a motel that they targeted as their prey. Maya was not willing to do this, as apparently that actually gave her flashbacks from how the strangers did the same thing to her and her deceased boyfriend, and she did not want to become a killer like the rest of the strangers that are alive, despite them trying to force her to do what they do. But yet, the strangers take care of their business anyway. Well, I guess this is what happens when you mess with the wrong people, especially your victims, because we all know that Maya is a victim. As Debbie and her boyfriend Howard try to find Maya, Sheriff Marcus ends up getting killed by another sheriff, and the strangers had murdered both Howard and Debbie, aka Maya's sister, so it is safe to say that she never found her sister that's been reported missing, as mentioned. And then, we see Maya going back into this underground hideout, avoiding herself from getting caught by those predators. However, Maya ends up killing another stranger, and the cop that is a relative of a psychopath, and when Gregory, the final stranger alive, finds Maya in the hideout, she finally takes his mask off, and apparently he was about to grip the hell out of her, which led to her murdering that monster. So yeah, that was the finale of the three-part series, now counting the original, and there you have it. Okay. I don't know where to start off with this movie, but this movie is not what I expected it to be. The storyline felt very off with constant flashbacks of the strangers from when they were young and innocent before they became the predators that we all know. I mean, we've already seen a couple flashbacks from the second movie that included Maya from when she was younger. What was bad about the storyline is how the strangers never continued throughout the movie, where they would murder more innocent people, except for that one couple, have Maya join that group of psychopaths to become a serial killer, and then get caught by the authorities. Honestly, this movie should have went towards that direction, but no, they wanted Maya to be an innocent survivor. Though I can see why they avoided that storyline for Maya, but they should have done better than that. The movie did follow the storyline, but the flashbacks that came in and out of the film was just kind of a distraction. Although the acting was well done, so I'll give them credit for that. And let me tell you this otherwise. There were other things that were wrong with the movie. This movie had some serious problems, and one of them was the fact that Maya had a lack of dialogue. She barely spoke a word, which did not give her enough character. And plus, we thought she was going to join the strangers, which that never became official. And also, the flashbacks were completely different from the other flashbacks from the previous movie that were somehow misguided, so they didn't even add up to any backstories. I mean, hey, there were some good jump scares, but there wasn't a lot of improvements to the movie that we were hoping for. Maya's character development was a lackluster. The movie felt very slow, which is something that not a lot of people would want to deal with. But the only good thing about this film is that in one of the flashbacks, the reasoning behind the story regarding how they ask if Tamara is home is that Tamara was actually unalived. So there is kind of a connection to that, and unfortunately we never got to see what Tamara looked like. And other than that, there wasn't a lot of improvements or development in the film. And with Maya being reported missing by her own sister, nobody even saw it coming. I mean, I don't know what to say, but this whole disappointment is similar to how a lot of people were disappointed with the Divergent series that contains movies based on the books, which, to be honest, y'all, I actually enjoyed the Divergent series no matter what people think of it. Especially the first movie, I enjoyed that the most. And then all of a sudden, they just stopped making the films because, the third one flopped really bad at the box office, and they never made the fourth movie. Well, that's a different story for a different day. But as for the Strangers Chapter era, this one is a lot more disappointing than what you could ever imagine. So I hate to say this, but it's safe to say that this franchise has been ruined. Like, it has literally been ruined ever since they tarnished the second Stranger movie and just recreated it into a different story, before we even got a reboot series that now exists. In fact, at the end of the day, with how poor that Lionsgate did with this film, it looks like I have no choice but to give this movie 2 out of 5. Yeah, you heard me right. 2 out of 5. It's not just from my perspective, but it is considered the weakest Strangers movie out of any other Strangers film. And I find this to be the weakest because of what it has been shown and like how they did this movie poorly. Well, see? This is why you should not get your hopes up when it comes to sequels. And I'd rather see Scream 7 when it comes out, or maybe send help. And if you guys are willing to see a horror movie soon, you might want to watch one that's like better and scarier than this. Because this is a recipe for disaster when it comes to The Strangers. So that'll do for this movie review. So yeah, guys, thank you all so much for watching. Be sure to like and subscribe, and I will see you all later. Until then, this is me, Byron, signing off. I'll see you in the next episode of Byron's Bios. Peace.